Hello, it's the Toy Man again here at Fun with Comics and Toys. And I want to welcome you to the weekly comic book review, episode 2. And just for those of you who are new to the channel, this is going to be a show about comic books that I review, whether they be old, whether they be new, and I let you know what I thought about them, and if I would give them a recommend. And of course, we're going to have like a starring system. You know, the 5 stars is going to be like the phenomenal book that did everything right. And, then anything below that is, can be, 4 would be like very good. And like 3 stars would be just decent. And 2 is going to be like below average. And then, of course, 1 star being the worst one, which would be like, you definitely want to pass on this book, in my opinion, But of course, as a disclaimer, this is my opinion. I'm no expert on, comic books or anything like that, but I have been doing it for a while, so I think I do have a good sense of what a good story is at this point in time in my collection career. But anyway, without further ado, let's get this review started. Roll those titles. Okay, now for our first book up for review. It's going to be from Aftershock Comics. It's going to be Nuclear Family #1. The writer is Stephanie Phillips. Artist is Tony Chastain. The cover was done by Shoni Chastain with J.D. Mettler. And we're going to go ahead and take this out of the bag and board and get the review process started. Okay, now we got it out of the bag and board. We're going to go ahead and start the review process. This book, oh man, I really like this book here. Stephanie Phillips, she really kind of captured, the 1960s era piece on this. This is kind of like what it, like during the Sputnik era, so to speak, in this. And artwork was really good. It's about a guy named Tim, and it's mostly about his family, what they're going through, this ordeal that this issue occurs. Of course, it starts off like what he does for a living. He's a car salesman, and he just trying to make an honest buck, and he's not really one of those, I guess you could say, those floozy salesmen. The shim-shammers, what do you want to call them? But his friend Dan, he doesn't really care, he just he wants to just sell the car and no matter what, But anyway, moving along. So anyway, he's just making his usual commute back home, and you get the tone that he's kind of like a hobbyist of like old radio equipment and stuff. I thought that was pretty neat, You could tell he had quite kind of like a passion, and something occurs that they do not expect, and it looks like the United States might be at war, possibly with the Russians at this point. And that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like during the whole Sputnik, like Cold War era stuff. I thought it had good composition. I think it was well written. It did. I really like this whole era. This kind of takes place in, and he's just trying to get his family prepared for this, whole nuclear warfare that's going on, and they're being attacked. It's a surprise attack, obviously, and everyone's freaking out. But he's the only one that's kind of like level-headed. Tim is the only one that's kind of level-headed through this whole ordeal. And then they kind of leave us where there's a kind of a dicey situation, in this book, But anyway, I did like this whole thing in the back here. It says, "A True American Guide to Communism." This is quite funny. Just like a little fun facts, but that is kind of set in this world. I thought that was quite hilarious. As you can see, this kind of reminds me of Fallout in a way. This kind of piece, and then of course you have a little preview to another Aftershock book, and it kind of gives you a some background on the artist and the writer and stuff. But with all that being said, I would give Nuclear Family a solid 4 out of 5 as far as my review process is concerned. It's definitely above average, but it's not like a perfect book by any means. But it's solid enough that you'll get enjoyment out of it for sure. But it didn't knock my socks off or anything like that. But anyway, that's going to conclude that review. We're going to go ahead and move on to our next book for review. Now for our second book for review, it's going to be from Boom Studios. It's going to be Eve #1. And the writer is Victor Laval. And artist is going to be kind of a tough one, Joe Ma Guan. I know I'm butchering that name. And then our cover artist is Ariel Andito. And we're going to go ahead and get started and take this out of the bag and board and get the review process started on this one as well. Okay, I got it out of the bag and board. Let's go ahead and get our review process started for Eve #1. So basically, oh man, I love this book. This book was really awesome. It's about a girl. Her name is Eve. She's the main character, and also, she does have a teddy bear, and his name is Wexler. And what I like that it kind of starts like she's in the wilderness, and she's talking to her dad on like a walkie-talkie, and tell her about what she's doing, going about her day, just talking to her dad and stuff. And then her dad is basically wanting to have a very serious conversation with her about something that he is very hesitant to give. Just like any awkward, situation that a parent may have with their children. So anyway, he has something to tell her, and she's kind of, getting worried because she's not knowing what to expect. And he's basically taking her somewhere and is trying to reveal something to her. And what I did like is kind of, a Matrix-y kind of feel to it. Everything that she has believed the world to be is not, in fact, the world at all, what she believed it to be. That's why it kind of gave me a vibe of like a Matrix vibe to it, like when Neo just freaks out because he finds out what the real world is like. That he has basically been awoken, and that's basically what happens to her, is that she's been awoken, and her dad has left her a companion named Wexler, the teddy bear, but he's like an android / teddy bear. And anyway, in the story, she's kind of coming to revelations about what the world has been, and he's kind of telling her that there are some things that I am withholding from you, that I can only give you like small pieces right now because you just can't handle it right now. She's kind of just wanting to know where her dad's at, and he's kind of being very evasive about the whole process of her wanting to know where the dad was, and telling her some more details about possibly where her dad could be. And I think that this book was beautifully done. And, she definitely has some freaking out moments, as anybody would. And what I like about this, it also is very relevant to our times, as it does talk about, climate change. And, like maybe what we're doing now to our next generation of people is, we're not thinking about the future race. Like, what are they going to inherit it when we're long since dead and gone? And I think that's why this is a really good, solid book, and it touches upon that. And I think it's extremely relevant for today's times. If you like things about, climate change and Matrix type book, I think you'll really dig this book, and I really digged it too. And I did like the little editorial in the back that the author Victor Laval did leave us there talking about a little bit behind the story about Eve and how he came about it and stuff. But like for this book, I think it really did everything right. And in my opinion, I would give it a 5 out of 5. This is a perfect book, in my opinion. This was a great read. It was unpredictable. It was awesome. And I highly recommend it. I definitely will be subscribing to this series for sure. Now, we're going to go ahead and move on to our next pick. Okay, now for our third pick for review. It's going to be from Image Comics, The Good Asian. And the writer is Ponsak Pinchete. And artist Alexandre Tefuge. Cover artist is going to be Dave Johnson. And we're going to go ahead and take this out of the bag and board, and we'll start the review of this book. Okay, now for our next review, we're going to be reviewing The Good Asian, #1. And boy, oh boy, did I like this one. This was a good period piece, extremely relevant to today's time, you know, with all the stuff happening to Asian Americans now and Asian immigrants just in general. I think it was extremely relevant, and it kind of talks about our past back in the 1936, and it does have some actual factual pieces in here as well that I do love. These are actual manuscripts from a place called Angel Island, where a lot of Asian Americans were kept. And our main character of focus for this book is going to be a man named Eddie Hark. And Eddie Hark basically is an Asian immigrant. He is a detective. And basically a family that he knows, a well-to-do family that he knows, the Carraways, they have once again employed him for some detective work. And basically, you know, he's held in Angel Island for a time, and you know, the people there, you know, are quite bitter, and it's quite a sad place, you know, and understandably so. As they can't really see their relatives, or just kind of being held there against their will. And it's just kind of sad to see that this actually is some true factual stuff. Maybe not these characters, but that we did this to Asian immigrants, you know, during our time here in America. But with that being said, you know, he gets sprung out of there by some well-to-do people from the Calloway family, and he said, "Oh, Eddie, you know, like you know, it's appalling what you done. You know, you're not some utter like typical Chinese guy or some chink, as they call him, some derogatory statement like that." And everyone's all looking at him like you asshole, you know, like what an ass you are, you know, to be saying that in front of all these people, you know. And but anyway, you know, it starts out like that, and it shows you that, you know, Eddie's ready, you know, hit the floor running, and you know, he's doing some detective work right away, trying to look into this missing persons type case, trying to find some information. And you know, he does have a partner here that they partner him up with, and his methods are unorthodox to say the least. And then he finally makes his way to the mansion at this point. And also keep in mind, you know, Eddie, you know, he's very astute. You know, he notices all the small details and everything. As you can see, like highlighted here, like he notices like there's a stain on this guy's shirt, and you know, he's really doing a Sherlock Holmes kind of thing. So anyway, he arrives at the mansion, and Frankie, the son of Mason, the one that you're seeing in that bed, he's in a coma. They're saying that basically Frankie's telling him that he's lovesick, you know, because he fell in love with the help. You know, a housemaid of the house named Ivy Chen, and that she left, you know, for no apparent reason. And so he's trying to employ them to find her, basically. And he's given, you know, some of his findings of some things he's already noticed about the case. It kind of gives you a little background about Eddie himself. like how he became a detective, and showing you his history with Mason a bit, and showing you some history with Ivy Chen. Really good composition. And then he's going his way downtown, going to investigate more, and man, boy, does he get more than he bargained for. There are some definite Asian hate crimes being committed in this book here for sure, and that's why I think it's extremely relevant to today's time with what's going on right now, especially. And he turns a blind eye to it. He thinks he can just continue to live his life that way, just keeping a blind eye to it until he just sees something so horrific that he's got to do something. And basically it ends there, just to hook us in and into this, this thing happening that is unjust, that he needs to correct, basically. But this book here, I would definitely give it a 5 out of 5. Really good detective type book. If you're digging on that, and also kind of a little bit of a history piece as well. Even though it's a fictional character, a lot of it is based on historical type facts as well. For that, definitely a 5-star for sure. I would highly recommend you guys picking this up. Now for our last book up for review, it's going to be from Marvel Comics, Alien #1. It's going to be written by Philip Kennedy Johnson. Artist is going to be Salvador LaRocca. Cover artist is going to be one of my favorites, In-Kyung Lee. And we're going to go ahead and dive into this book and start the review process. Let me get it out of the bag and board for you guys. Now for our last review, we're going to be reviewing Alien #1. And damn, I love this book. The artwork was good, and story was good. Basically, the premise, it's about a soldier that's going into retirement named Gabriel Cruz. And I like how it starts like in like a dream type sequence. Like, is this a dream? Is this a premonition? I like that whole feel to it. And basically, you could say that Gabriel is having his exit interview. If you've ever been employed and you're up for retirement, basically he's doing his exit review, and they're doing like a psychological exit review on him, and seeing how he's doing. Make sure that he's okay. Before he goes into retirement, and also suggesting to him like there'll be somebody else to help him, even after retirement and stuff like that. And they hold a typical like retirement, ceremony for him, and he talks to this guy about the visions and the dreams that he's been experiencing, and he feels like there's more to it than what this doctor gave him. And but anyway, he's at the ceremony. They're all congratulating him about Epsilon Station, because that's basically where we're at here. They're talking about like all the great work he's done over the years, and just being a regular civilian, how it's been, and I do like that they give us a timeline that this is actually quite a ways from the original Alien, from the Nostromo mission, when the xenomorphs were first found, and Hadley's Hope and all that. Because in the year now is like 2200 at this point, and it looks like they haven't had any issues with any like xenomorphs for quite some time. So anyway, he's there to see his son. He invited his son over, Danny, and him and Danny have not really been on good terms, because there has been some tragic events that have basically hit their family, and Danny has ulterior motives, I guess you could say, for seeing his father. Like he's trying to not only rehash old old stuff, but he is also there to like gather intel as well, because he's working for some kind of like movement of some kind. But anyway, they get into an argument, and about another relative that they're pretty shaken about losing. But anyway, we go there, and he leaves very abruptly, and then of course they're showing that the xenomorphs may not in fact be gone at all. That maybe this is why he is having visions of this, like a past events. He feels like maybe there's something more happening to his dreams and visions. Gabriel's thinking. And of course we go to Elysian Station, and they're showing like what's going on here, and basically there's been like some kind of I guess invading force to break into there to get more information from that movement that his son Danny was part of. And basically they find out that maybe these xenomorphs are not gone for good. They kind of run into some unexpected, something that they were not expecting on this mission. Let's just say that. And I think that this story was well written. I think Philip Kennedy Johnson really understands the Alien franchise. I love Alien in general, so I'm kind of impartial to that. Gosh, it's hard. I think as far as I think I'll have to give it a 5 out of 5. I mean, this was very enjoyable. If you love Aliens and the Alien franchise, I would highly recommend you picking this up. This book is kind of under the radar, like I think a lot of people think like, oh, I'm not gonna pick it up because Marvel just acquired, the rights or whatever. But it just did everything right for me, It told me a good story, and for that I'm giving it a 5-star for sure. And I'm definitely subbed to this as well. So I'm not just recommending it to you guys. I actually am subscribed to it. It definitely hooked me in for issue 2 for sure. And just to kind of give you a reason behind why I'm doing these videos as well, is I'm just trying to encourage reading among people. To kind of read some books that for you guys, and let you know if I would recommend them and stuff. And but that's my ultimate goal with making these videos, guys, just to promote reading and promote the love of the hobby. But anyway, that's going to conclude our review video. And if you haven't done so already, hit that like and subscribe, as it would really help me and the channel out. I hope you guys have a good day and keep on rocking.